Well, hello, and welcome to the Charlotte Mason Enrichment Podcast. I'm your host, Elise Thompson, and thank you so much for tuning in today. This is episode number 21, and today I'm going to talk all about reading the volumes. I know I've done an episode on this before, but I wanted to circle back because there's so much that you can say about reading the volumes. And so I want to talk about reading the volumes, the best way to do it, why to do it. And I also have a very special announcement of something new that is going to be offered through Charlotte Mason Enrichment. So I'm very excited. If you can do me a favor, wherever you're listening to this podcast, could you please subscribe, give a thumbs up, whatever. Really appreciative for that. It just helps get this message and this podcast out to other Charlotte Mason home educators. So thank you so much for that. So like I said, we're talking about the volumes, and I think it's really important to, as a Charlotte Mason educator, to read the volumes. There's a lot of people sharing about Charlotte Mason, whether it's through podcasts or social media or blog posts. And there's honestly a lot of misrepresentation of Charlotte Mason's principles, her thoughts, and what truly a Charlotte Mason education looks like. You know, some people can think, oh, well, we spend a lot of time in nature and we read books. And so we're kind of Charlotte Mason. And while those things are great, that does not qualify as a true Charlotte Mason education. And so, you know, if that's all that you're doing in your home education, man, you are leaving so much on the table. And so I feel kind of personally responsible as a Charlotte Mason educator to help point people back to her volumes. And I feel personally responsible because of just what a huge impact it's had on my life. I know if you've read the volumes, they've had a huge impact on your life as well. And so I just love to point people back to reading her volumes. So a few reasons why you want to make sure that if you're going to claim to do Charlotte Mason education, you want to understand her philosophy in her own words. Okay, so those secondary resources, they are great. I'm not going to throw shade on them. They're helpful, but inevitably they are going to sometimes misinterpret her ideas. So reading her volumes ensures that you're engaging her thoughts directly without diluting them, misinterpreting them, misunderstanding them. So it's really great to understand firsthand what she truly means and what she said. And if I'm just going to pause there really quick and just talk about why it's important to even have a philosophy of education. My personal story real quick is that I have 4 kids, and I call it 2 tours of homeschooling. My first tour of homeschooling was when my now 18-year-old daughter was in, I think, the 3rd grade is when we started homeschooling, decided kind of last minute that we were going to give it a try. And I had no idea where to start. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so I just found books that I thought looked nice, thought I looked pretty, were eye appealing, and I pieced things together, and that was her education. There's nothing wrong with doing that per se, but there is a better way. And I always felt like when we were doing the school through the books that we selected, I always felt like there was a void. Well, that void was a philosophy of education I know now, because when you have a philosophy, it really helps provide guide rails for you. There's so many great options out there. And if you're not careful, you can say yes to too much. And then everything is convoluted. It's not enjoyable. It feels chaotic. There's lots of symptoms that can come when you do not have a philosophy of education. So just a plug, having a philosophy of education is very important. And so again, if you're going to have it, it's good to get it from the source. The second thing is we want to know why. We want to grasp her whys behind her method. It's, again, tempting to say, ooh, I love the pretty books. I love narrating. I love being out in nature. But again, without understanding the principles that drive them, you can fall short. basically. So the volumes explain her deep philosophy. She has views on children as persons, the roles of ideas, and a vision of education as a life. So it's important to understand the why, and we understand the why when we read the volumes. The next thing is that it allows you to become a thinker and not just a follower. And that's really a big deal. I think that is one of the goals of education is that we want to be able at the end of the day to think for ourselves and not just always do what we're told. Nothing wrong with doing what we're told, but you want to be able to think through and come to an understanding and conclusions on your own. So, Miss Mason continually calls educators to be self-educating parents. And so reading her volumes honestly helps to model the habit of mind and equips you to make wise decisions and applying her principles rather than just checking off someone's to-do list for you. Even with curriculums, even Charlotte Mason curriculums, if you are not a thinker and you're just like, hey, this is what it says, I'm going to do it, but it's not serving your family well, you can even be a slave and a follower to curriculum. And so again, reading her volumes helps you to understand how to think through what's going to be best for your family and for how you educate them. So those are a few of my huge takeaways in reading her volumes. I would love to hear from you. What have been some amazing takeaways that you've gotten from reading her volumes? But I have shared about why I think it's important to read her volumes. But I understand that it can be challenging if you are new to home educating, you're new to having a philosophy of education. I understand that it can be a challenge. When I first started home educating with Charlotte Mason and I got my first copy, I started with volume 6 and I started reading this and I'm like, what am I reading? Like, this does not make sense. Like, I had to read it and reread it and read it. And so I realized that this was going to be harder than I thought to do it by myself. And so thank God that my Charlotte Mason community offered to read this in community. And that's actually what I want to really talk about today is reading her volumes and discussing them with other Charlotte Mason educators. I feel like it is imperative to be able to read and discuss her volumes in community. Now, you might be super smart and amazing and be able to read them yourself and not have anybody to discuss them with. Kudos to you. I seriously look up to you. You're amazing. But that was not me. And so I have really enjoyed and really benefited from reading her volumes in community. Number one, it provides accountability for me. As I had to grow in, self-educating, educating my kids, I had to honestly grow in the habit of reading books. Like, I had fallen away from that. I wasn't reading as much as I should have been. And so being able to go to a book study with other Charlotte Mason educators provided accountability for me that I 100% needed. I was not in the habit of reading on a consistent basis. And so I needed that built in accountability to say, okay, I'm going to say yes to this book study. So I'm not going to show up having not read the chapters that were assigned. I'm going to read the chapters so that I can know what's being discussed and engage, ask questions. It's humbling. It really is. But it has been the guardrails that I absolutely needed to grow in the habit of being a reader. So that is a great thing about reading her volumes in community. The second thing that's really great about reading and discussing the volumes in community is that you get a deeper understanding. There may be some things that you read and you just kind of like read over it and it doesn't really land. But when you read them in community, there's different things that stick out to different people. Just like when you may read to your children and you ask them to narrate, it's interesting what different parts of what was read sticks out to different people. Well, it's the same thing with us as adults. Different things stick out to people, and people can kind of share why that really resonated with them, and it can have a deeper meaning for you as the listener. So it's really beneficial to read and discuss this with other people. And then honestly, there's a lot of encouragement and camaraderie that comes from discussing these with other people. There may be areas that you recognize that, man, I really am falling short in this area. But it's so great when we're around other people, they can encourage us and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I was there too. And I've grown in this area. And so there's always just great encouragement that can come when you're reading and maybe you feel like you're missing the mark. People can encourage you and champion you as you are well on your way. So that is another thing. Obviously, you can figure out how then to take what you're reading in the volumes and apply it in your life. The last book study that I went to, we were reading about atmosphere and how the mother is a really big contributor to the atmosphere in her home and contributing to the atmosphere of education. And as I was reading that, I was like, man, I do have some room to grow in the atmosphere of my home. I see that, it's growing, but there's room to grow. And so that was something that I could immediately apply to my home and to how I interact with my children on a day-to-day basis. And so there's always immediate application that can come from reading and discussing the volumes with other people. And so that kind of leads me into my special announcement for Charlotte Mason Enrichment. Drum roll, please. I am excited to announce that we have launched the Charlotte Mason Enrichment Mothers Society. Woo! I have to figure out how to do like special effects. I'll get there one day. But I'm really excited for the Mother Society. You may say, Elise, what is the Mother Society? The Mother Society has been on my heart for a while. And it's that no mom should walk through her educational journey by herself. We truly are better together. We can learn so much from each other. And so I wanted to have an opportunity where, on a continual basis, we can grow together, we can be encouraged together, we can help each other out because I don't know about you, but I need help. And so that was my heart for starting the Mother Society. I love hosting the conference, but I was like, man, getting together one time a year is not enough. What about all the other months of life that happens in between? I don't know about you, but I need to be encouraged. I have questions that I want to learn from other moms. How are they maneuvering this? How are they handling this? How are they being better? And so that is why I created the Mothers Society. It's just a support system to encourage you, to cheer you on. And so what that all entails is it's like a community. And so we're going to be every month working our way through a volume. So we're starting with volume 6, The Philosophy of Education, and we're going to be reading a couple chapters every month, meeting and discussing them. So I'm really excited about that. We're also going to have monthly workshops. Like last month, we discussed how to create a timetable. It was really great getting to discuss with other moms, like what they already are doing and how to improve upon it, giving them some questions, some action steps. Everything that we do in the society is going to be very practical, very hands on. We are going to have monthly book studies. Like right now, we're getting ready to launch, going through volume 6. We're going to be reading a couple chapters every month and discussing them. So I'm very excited to start that. We also have monthly workshops where we will take a topic and it will be very hands-on. And so it'll be me leading it sometimes, and other times I'll bring in guest speakers to lead the workshops. But it'll be happening every single month. And then, of course, just encouragement along the way. Every week there'll be fresh encouragement for you. So I am very excited to launch the Mother Society. And I would love if that is something that would be of a benefit to you. You can click in the description and or you can go to charlottemasonenrichment.com to get more information. But I'm just so excited to be able to do life together with other Charlotte Mason educators. And so that is what we are going to talk about today. So I hope that, you feel encouraged and inspired to either pick up a Charlotte Mason volume if you've got them on your shelf and you haven't read them. I hope you feel re-inspired to grab them. Or if you've felt intimidated or maybe just understand why it's important to read those, I hope that you too feel inspired to read them. And if you say, I do not want to do this by myself, I would like to have that built-in accountability and an opportunity to talk with other moms about the volumes and what I'm reading, then I would love to see you inside the Mothers Society. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Remember, Charlotte says that the only true education is self-education. So we're never going to stop learning and we're never going to stop growing. And I will see you next week.